Brett. I'm a motivational speaker that comes to you with action steps that get you up and moving. Also, a consultant with businesses that will help you with the culture of your business, helping you to realize, recognize, and utilize the talents and skills that your staff have, also what you have to bring forth. And then I do professional coaching with clients, helping walk beside them in empathy and helping them hold themselves accountable and have action steps to be the person that they were created to be. So again today, thank you for joining me. We're going to be talking on how to become an empathetic. How do you take that? We already had the first session and we talked about what empathy was a little bit and gave you some ideas, but how to become an empathetic, how to become that person that when people talk about you or recommend you to someone else, that's one of the first thoughts that come into their mind is that you are that person that does not walk in sympathy because that's destruction, but you walk in empathy, which is becoming a builder. And that's what we all want to be. So empathy is seeing with another person's eyes, hearing with another person's ears, and feeling with another person's heart. And so when you can break it down and go into that, you're ready to start being empathetic. Remember, you're not seeing them through your vision. You're not hearing them with your ears or with your thought processes. And we have to extend our peripheral vision. In order to do that, we have to change our perceptions. We have to open them up and just close them. So when we're going in empathy, I want you to start thinking about, it's so vitally important that we are coming at it from an angle that I see you. I validate you. I see you. I know you. I can feel and hear your hurt, your passions. I'm going to become an empathetic person. And then the last quote right now on it is, empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. And that's Moshe Hammed. And the echoes. And those echoes come from us being humans. I want us to start thinking about taking away from, I am a Floridian, I'm this, I'm that, and let's go right back to the basics. I'm a human. Just like everybody else here. Yes, I have different experiences. I have different job opportunities. I have a lot of different things, but basically I'm a human. So when I stop and listen and recognize you as another human being, as I look at you with you and see you through your eyes, hear you through your ears, and feel you through your heart, then I'm allowed to see you as a human being that was born with rights, that was born with these rights that we all have. We all have to become that person that we were created to be. How to become more empathetic. And I read an article by Clara Kane. I read actually several articles and did a lot of research. But I love the way her thought process worked on it and how she broke it down. And she talked about one of the first things was that we all live in bubbles. And when I started hearing that, I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a wonderful way to visualize it. And we do live in the same bubbles. We work with the same types of people, then we hang around the same type of people. We hang around people that make the same amount of money, that go to the same church that we go to, that spend their money like we do, that vote like we do. And when we get in those bubbles, we lose our clarity and we lose our ability to be empathetic. And that is such a tremendous loss, because as long as I'm in that bubble and like through this epidemic, I'm working still. Yes, a lot of my business has changed. I've lost a lot of it, but I'm still working. But what about that person that both of them in that family or that are not working? And if I put them at my same standards and I go, I have the same fear that they have. No, I don't. I don't have that. I'm not in that same category. And so that's when empathy, when I can start seeing, hearing, and feeling then with another's eyes, ears, and heart, then I can be in empathy. It doesn't mean I have to experience it. And right now, I will tell you, walking in someone else's shoes, I don't think anything ticks me off more than that. Because a lot of people will say that. I walked in his shoes and it wasn't so bad. Well, I'll tell you what, you can't walk in someone's shoes. And when you do walk in them or think that you are walking in them, when it gets tough, you escape. We go back into our own shoes that feel more comfortable and we're happier with. So I want us to really think about that statement. So let's go into empathy and see what we can do. When we stay in that bubble, we have an empathetic deficiency. And that means it's hard for us to understand or see how anybody else lives when we're in an empathetic deficiency. So what happens is that to stay human, to be able to stay human, and to be part of the whole, all humans, we have to recognize that when we stay in that bubble, it's hard for us to see that other person. It's hard to recognize, but also we have to recognize that we have biases. All of us have biases. And I'm going to tell you what, that's a hard pill to swallow, because most of us will say, I don't have a bias about that. I don't have that. We're going to talk about sitting back and realizing, yes, we do. And we're humans. But we do have the opportunity to look and change and make some differences, and that's what it's about. Empathy can be developed. Is that not the greatest thing ever? Empathy can be developed. And it can be made stronger. Like I said, if you had asked me before, was I empathetic before last October? I would have told you yes, and I am empathetic. Am I near where I need to be? No. I had to go in and start really research. I had to be intentional. And then I had to use it every single day. So empathy can be developed. It should be developed. And the great thing about it is that it can be developed even before the age of 2. How awesome is that? Understanding how things work. Really understanding how things work and why we do certain things, it's going to open the door to us. It's understanding how someone feels and being compassionate about that. Again, I always like to use LA. LA is the one that does my videography, so if you like that, get in contact with me. I can tell you a great person to do your videography for you. But we talk and we visit and we share. LA is 25 and he's a young black gentleman. I am not near his age, and I am a white woman that has been brought up in different atmospheres completely. But that doesn't mean that I can't watch him to see what brings him joy, what brings him down. It doesn't mean that I can't listen to facts that are different from what I've gotten to see and experience my whole life. It doesn't mean I can't open up and go, wow, that's not right. This is what empathy gives you, the ability to learn, to question, to delve, to go into things. So that's what we want to do. Empathy happens when 2 parts of the brain start working together. Now you have the emotional center, your subconscious, and you have that emotional center that's all around feelings. And it's good or bad, but a lot of those things that have been brought in or dropped into that subconscious aren't something that you even remember it being dropped into. In fact, up until the age of 12, you didn't know if what was being dropped in was even right or wrong. But you're basing your perception on that. That's why it's so hard sometimes for us to realize our biases. Those biases have been actually dropped into us all of our lives. Up until the age of 12, you didn't even question it. You just let it happen. And then we have our cognitive center. And this is understanding the why of it. And that's so important. The why of being biased. The why of just expecting certain things to happen. When I understand the why, that's when I can understand really what you're going through. It's when I can choose to make a difference. When I can choose to stand beside you, and I'll give you just a window into that. several years ago, I had a friend that lost a child, and there was a lot of us that hung around together. And maybe a month afterwards, that friend that had lost a child wasn't with us at that time, but another friend said, "When are they going to get over it? How long is this going to take?" And I looked because I thought, obviously she's making a joke. Obviously she's, and I looked. There was not an ounce of empathy coming out of those eyes. And I just said, well, first of all, please don't ever ask her that. Second of all, they will never come back the same they were. You don't. You have to listen. You have to meet them where they're at now. You have to grow with them in another journey, because they won't ever grow out of it. They will just be able to grow through it. And so having that empathy to understand that. Research shows that empathy makes us better family members, workers, friends, leaders, managers. But you know what empathy does? It's absolutely the most important. It makes us better humans. And that's what it's really all about. The bigger personal question is that when we have empathy, we make connections. We start building those relationships that are so vitally important. We become compassionate. And it's crucial to sustaining our human future. Because if we continue on not working or walking in empathy, you've seen what the virus has done. You've seen what the marches and the demonstrations, and you've seen what different things have done. It's always been here. It's always been here. When does it change? When you, as an individual, when I, as an individual, and LA over there, as an individual, start saying, I'm going to start seeing you with your eyes. I'm going to start hearing you with your ears, and I'm going to start feeling you with your heart. When I take me out of it, that is when I can listen and be an empathetic person. That's when that one drop of water drops into that pond, and outward goes those rings of energy that touch others. And that's when we grow as human beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've appreciated it. And think about being intentionally empathetic.